What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. I released that Eldritch deck profile, Eldritch generator deck profile just a bit ago, but I had a lot more replays, and I've been playing this ABC Cyber Dragon deck a whole lot more today, just because it's so fun, man. And I thought, you know what? I don't play by anybody's rules. I might as well just make another gameplay video, just because. This is just complete bonus. It's really fun. Just to show how cool this deck is. It's so resilient and so interesting, and you really have to think about all your plays too. It's honestly, I can't recommend playing this deck enough. It's very unique. I've not seen too many other deck profiles for this, but normally you're able to set up 2 disruptions, which is, you know, okay, I guess. And he kind of put me in a pretty tough spot. So he opened up with evenly match, Mystic Mine, triple tactical talents, and Ash Blossom. And the crazy thing is like, man, he held this Ash Blossom for a very, very long time. But I guess the idea is that he did have the evenly match, so I don't know. He ends up looking through it, so he uses all his forms of disruption, right? Which is pretty good. He's got the Trouble Sunny, although really, this deck has a pretty good matchup against Evil Twins, simply because they're so reliant on having a monster in the extra monster zone. Anytime you summon out a Cyber Dragon monster, they're forced to just try to pop something. But man, unauthorized reactivation is just, it's bananas. It's such a good card. I'm telling you, it's Called by the Grave 2.0, and it just does so much for the deck. And truthfully, I really, really do think that Phoenix Enforcer is like the much better card. In IRL, I'm going to be playing Dragoon because I'm going to wait at least until January. I kind of do want to buy a Phoenix Enforcer, even if it is just for one format, because of how good this card is. And I was thinking back, and man, when this deck had Union Carrier, it was just so insane. If they would just reprint the dang card and say just machine monsters, this deck would just go up significantly. But you saw that, even through a Zeus, because I held on to this Infinity Negate for so long, because I only had one, right? And, oh man. So I'm going to negate him, preventing him from being able to, Link Summon. Then I can go ahead and attack for some, damage here. Use Infinity's effects after unauthorized reactivation. You saw how good this card is twice in a row, giving me the negate again, giving me back to Phoenix Enforcer. So I could have asked for that, that draw 2 effect, but I'm like, man, I should just wait. I should really just wait. And he did have the Kisa kill in hand, but he had ended up he used Pot of Desires like earlier in the turn, so he just doesn't have any other targets left, which is insane. I'll actually show off the whole match here. So again, triple tactical talents, Nibiru, Ash Blossom, unauthorized reactivation. This card is just, it's too good, man. It's just too good. And I actually did make one change to the deck. So I got rid of Cyber Dragon Seeger, and I have now added Invoked Macabre. Although here I didn't use it. Through an Ash and a Nibiru. Oh, this deck is nuts, right? I'm gonna be able to banish something, tag it out, and go into an Appaloosa that can't be destroyed. Although I think he's able to deal with my board before I ever go into anything. But I had the Ash in the hand. Awesome. He uses triple attack to draw a couple cards. And even if he did get the special summon, whenever he goes into the first link, well, I guess it is kind of, well, no. So basically, what I'm gonna do, whenever he special summons anything, so when it's special summon, I'm just going to banish it. And then I can tag this out in the same chain. And then I can go into IP Masquerade, go into Appaloosa. It's a very, very good card against this deck. And then next turn, obviously, plenty of follow-up. I can normal summon Core. I have the Galaxy Soldier in hand, which is nice. So, being able to kind of go into that, I usually have a very bad time facing against Evil Twins because they run so many hand traps. But this deck just eats hand traps. We'll go over every other duel here. Nothing too crazy. One of my favorite tech cards here is the Imperial Order. I can't wait for this card to get banned. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be using it in this duel, and it may even just help me extend, but it's just so silly. It's like Konami makes all these going second cards, and they're almost all spells outside of Nibiru, and then it's here's this card that just wins duels. So if you draw it, you win the duel. If you don't, it's I don't know. I really hate this card personally. But he did have the out to it, so this Ash is going to have to put in a lot of work, but I'm preventing him from being able to go into Power Bond, which, obviously is going to do a lot of work for me. He goes ahead and ends the turn. I top deck a Cyber Dragon Core. These triple attacks are kind of dead in my hand, but this goes along with what I talked about earlier, where I honestly never feel like this card is the reason that I don't win a duel, like if it doesn't activate. As you can see here, like I'm pretty much perfectly fine, and when it comes to this deck, there is no next turn. If you give me an open board, I'm assembling lethal, like 90% of the time. Like, you may think I'm going into Fusion Destiny, and I think that's what this guy thought I was doing, but no, not necessary. Plus, if he had anything during the battle phase, I have the negate for it, so this deck is just so good with tempo, it's insane. This was a match. Dude, there's so many. Yu-Gi-Oh! Community is so funny. Like, some people are so toxic, but other people are so fun to duel with. This was one of those. And the Evil Twin guy, too, was also super duper fun to play against. So this is a pretty darn good opening. And that's the thing about this deck that I find, like, so fun. Like, truly the only bricks that you'll find in your hand are, like, your, Fusion Package and Union Driver. Outside of that, there's usually some creative way to use the cards that you have. He goes ahead and tributes the ABC. That's alright, because at least I can go into an Appaloosa, need be. And I still have the Phoenix Enforcer too, so one Kaiju is typically not enough to just break this board. But I'm going to really be patient with this. I'm just going to wait to see what he ends up using here. I'm hoping to go into a really big Appaloosa, although now that I'm thinking about it, he does have the Cyber Dragon, so I know as of this point I still have a Nightmare Unicorn, so it's going to have to do a whole bunch of work for me, but I think it's actually going to be able to pull that off. So here we go. It's a 14,000 attack Chimera Tech over over Dragon, but there we go. And then he did have the Overload Fusion. I was really sweating it, but he does have Rampage Dragon in his deck, although it wouldn't have been enough, to be honest with you, so even then it would have been okay. So yeah, I was honestly pretty lucky, but also I don't think he had the materials needed for Overload Rampage Dragon anyways. So that was just, I needed every bit of disruption that I had in that duel, right? This is Virtual World. Oh man, this duel is so crazy. I probably should have started with this. He's got an Ash, he's got an Imperm, and yeah, I've talked about triple attack, and I think I already talked about it this, in this video, but this card's the missing link in the deck for sure. So even through the Ash and the Imperm, it's essentially nothing happened. The whole, I'm good to go. Because of unauthorized reactivation, again, that card, just every single time you can see this. And, just being able to add cards back with a Assault Core just for discard fodder, so you're losing less advantage. That would have been gone into infinity. It would have been an an ABC Dragon Buster and the Destiny Fusion through 2 forms of disruption. That's crazy. That's so good. Let's see. This is Necro Valley, sure. It looks like he's got some pretty good cards here, but and I actually have a pretty janky hand, to be honest with you. I'm pretty much only going to be able to get follow-up, and maybe the Fusion Destiny will come down. I even had Union Driver in my hand, so super duper bricky. I mean, this is the worst hand possible. 2 infinite permanents typically can do a lot of work, but this is a trap heavy deck, so we'll see what ends up happening here. He adds a Dark Bribe to hand. Well, this is at least going to be able to special summon itself. And then Union Driver, of course, is going to go off. Basically what I was trying to do is, equip the B so that I can go into ABC Dragon Buster, because now I can't go into it because of Necro Valley. So I got to get a little creative. At least I'm getting rid of my bricks here. Those can go into a Verde Anaconda. Hopefully, I can go into the Fusion Destiny to, destroy the Necro Valley. I ate another one of his trap cards. So, the further along this duel goes, I feel like the better advantage that I have. He tries to activate Ecclesia. I will go ahead and negate that, of course, since since I have 2. He activates Pot of Duality in his zone that Infinite pointed to, so I got a really lucky break here. And then Celestial, man, this card is interesting, at least. It has a decent effect besides the draw 2 effect. I think that's what this one does, right? yeah, draw 2 cards. But being able to normal summon to destroy a face-up card, you really, truly just never know. He does destroy, the Fossil, Dyna, whatever this card is, does destroy special summon monsters when flip summon, but B-Buster was normal summon, so was able to go for game there. Here's the other duel against Necro Valley. A pretty decent opening for sure. I will go ahead and normal summon the Hertz because I did have the unauthorized reactivation, because when this is special summon, it's going to trigger Hanger again. And I just need to get B so that when this goes to the graveyard, it can special summon the other one. So I have all my pieces here. Unfortunately, I can't go into like an IP or something, but 2 forms of disruption is typically pretty good. And this end board probably would have been better if this was Dragoon, but yeah, it wasn't. What are you going to do? He Cyclones my Cyclone because I knew what he was playing at this point. All right. He ends up popping the Hanger, but I don't know, because I end up popping the Ecclesia pretty early because I feel like he was going to go into a flare, which he did. I mean, it could have been a bad move if he was going to search out the Dogmatic of Punishment, but yeah, this is fine. So I'm going to get rid of one of these cards. I'm definitely going to be able to go into an access code talker. And I could have actually played around Waking the Dragons, right? If I go into IP before I go into access code, if he did go into the Last Warrior Remaining, which I'm sure he has in his deck, it actually wouldn't have been destroyed. So there's a lot of cool things. Like, those are kind of the small nuances that you have to think about this deck. Like, if you're just going to leave a access code raw dogged out there, you have to go into IP, right? Because otherwise, you're really just out there. This is Evil Sworn, so he's got an Ash, an Infinite Impermanence, a Torrential Tribute, and an Evenly Matched. That just feels like something... It just feels like what I've been playing, honestly. But yeah. Like, everybody who I play just opens crazies. Crazy can be. Okay, so both of those can go ahead and get banished here. He has the Imperm, and he holds it. Oh, man. Like, thank you very much. Is kind of how I feel. Although... I guess he's holding it for my next turn, so like the negate doesn't go away, but we'll see. He goes for the Imperm. I'm surprised. Okay, he goes for the Evenly Matched, although what I'm going to end up doing here is like just save my Phoenix Enforcer. I'm playing Evil Sworn, right? So it's like, how good can it be? Since this is main phase 2, he can't attack over this. He did have 2 Torrential Tributes, so I don't actually know how this duel would have ended up, but certainly, I would have been decent, because this isn't even a once per turn. But the IB, it would have been pretty close. I don't know. I guess the guy just, thought he didn't have what he needed there. But this is the other duel in it, so we'll see how he ends up feeling about it. Plenty of hand traps in this deck. I've altered it so much. Having those hand traps is really... Having the hand traps in the triple attack has just changed the dynamic of this deck. For sure. And I actually end up activating unauthorized reactivation, but I don't use the effect to just be unaffected by card effects because, adding Galaxy Soldier to my hand would have done pretty much nothing for me. But drawing 2 cards, that definitely does a whole bunch. I would have been able to discard both of those, go into the infinity, so... Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome, right? Just a couple more duels here. This is Dragon Link. Okay. The Evenly Match, everybody against me opens Evenly Match, Ash, Infinite. But it's okay. I mean, you have to expect to take on some hand traps every once in a while, so it's pretty cool to be able to do this. And I kind of drew pretty wonky, to be honest with you, like for sure, honestly. So I'm only going to be able to go into a Fusion Destiny, but it's like, it's as if I knew he had Evenly Matched, right? Somehow. So this is going to come back. He's, you might as well use the effect, I suppose, because he didn't have any play starters, but the Ash is going to put in a lot of work. And honestly, Dragon Link is way more reliant on normal summons than I think people realize. Quick Launch obviously solves a lot of the issues, but if I don't open this, like, if you can get rid of the normal summon, the deck is actually, like, stopped. I feel like the same thing goes for Salamangreats, too. Yeah, this was a funny duel. The guy called me an idiot, but I don't know. I think this was pretty good. He's going to try to banish that. I will negate, and I will go into an ABC. Then I will go into an Overload Fusion, and which he just kind of quit right there, right? Just a couple more duels. This is basically Cyber, although this is a weirdly weird matchup, right? Because I'm assuming that in his extra deck, he's also running kind of the Cyber stuff, meaning, Fortress Dragon, Mega Fleet, all that kind of stuff, just like me. So he's running a machine deck. I'm running a machine deck. He's got Shadal Ruck. He's got Infinite Permanence. He's got the follow-up with the Ecclesia. We'll see how I'm able to deal with this. I do have an in archetype out here, although I tried to activate unauthorized reactivation, and it wouldn't let me equip the C. I don't know why. Maybe someone in the comment section could tell me. There's a lot of cards in the field, so maybe I'm just being stupid, but I was trying to equip C so that it was unaffected by the imperm, but it didn't work out that way. Okay, so I'm going to add all the pieces to my hand, which is actually pretty nice. Just really ends up being discard fodder. I can normal summon the Sea Crush Wyvern, go into the ABC, get rid of the Ruck. He is going to Fusion Summon into the Construct to get rid of this, but that's fine. I did have the Fusion Destiny there. I should have popped the Construct and then attacked the Unicorn. That was a misplay by me, because obviously when this attacks a special summon monster, I got bailed out because he didn't, top deck very well, but, it's never good to make misplays, but... and that's the thing I think about all these replay videos that I do. It's like, I really don't care if I make really, ignorant, mess-ups here, because it's like, I don't know. Okay. Don't you learn more from watching me mess up than, seeing someone do perfectly? Because you don't really realize what the mistakes are, so... I don't know. I'm just going to continue to do that forever. And this was, way more than enough for lethal, right? Nova can summon back Cyber Dragon. I can go into an Overload Fusion with the Negate, with the Pop. I mean, that was just way more than enough than was necessary. And this is against Cubic. I ended up winning the match, but the other duel wasn't so interesting. This is a good opening, although, this is going to be a brick in my hand for now. I can go into the Cyber Repair Plant, with the Hertz. This card is literally just used for discard fodder. Although the great thing about this card, too, is that it is, a really good target for machine duplication. So it has enough applications other than just being discard fodder. Although, for, in the context of the deck, being discard fodder is very good. And again, I think this is a duel where Red Eyes, the Dragoon would have been better because you have two Omni Gates versus an Omni Gate and a Pop. Although it's nice to have a little bit of a diverse field, I suppose. I'll go ahead and negate the Karma. Pretty cool. I'm not too interested in reading Cubic cards, so I'm just gonna do whatever I can. This is gonna gain a little bit of attack, but not anymore because of the imperm. And I figured, he already normal summoned, so there's not much he's gonna be able to do. Dasher lets me have the free special summon there, which is always nice for link fodder. But I don't need it, right? Just Overload Fusion, banish those, pop the Dharma, send some ABC pieces to the graveyard, attack directly, all that good stuff. Go for game. But yeah, that was another long look at ABC Cyber Dragon. Yeah, again, the only thing that I changed was just taking out the Seeger, adding in a Makaba. But yeah, that's the same deck profile as you guys saw tomorrow. But other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.